Hi, it's Miss NikkiAnn. Just thought I'd make a video. It's rare that I'm alone. It's really rare. Like to be alone for like 30 minutes rarely happens. And so I am home alone. I'm already sometime into that 30 minutes. So, that's how that goes. And this moment will be over soon. What do I have in my proximity? Okay. So, do I even know how to really do this anymore? Like, make posts, video posts. As far as dysautonomia, I am the same. There's been no improvement, which is fine. At this point, that's fine. There has been progression. Okay. So is what it is. And it's just a regular day. It's a regular day in my life to run fluids, meds all day long. I get up at 3 a.m. and by 3 p.m. I am just, because I homeschool my son. He's 13 now. So by 3 o'clock p.m., my body, it refuses to do anything else. And depending on how it's feeling, it may just, I'll pass out around 3 p.m. and wake up at 6 like, what happened? Did I take a little nap or something? I'll look around and try to remember, and just passed out talking to someone. I'll see drawers open, which means that I was doing stuff and just passed out somewhere along the line. But sometimes I'm just sick, and 3 p.m. is the furthest I can go, but I don't fall asleep. So my goal is to not fall asleep, even though my doctor says do not fight it. The body's trying to, it's done a lot since 3 a.m. It's trying to recover. Let the process be what it is. Nothing but aggravates the situation if I don't do what it needs. And so, yeah, pressure's still the same. I get really crazy numbers now. Like, let me see, guys. Looking through my machine. We all know we have these machines around pressures. Okay. So 207 over 130 with a pulse of 102. Then, moments later, 86 over 51 with a with a pulse of 83. So let me say those again. I'm going to leave the pulse out this time because it's taking me to 207. So I'm going to do the pressure, but leave the pulse out. 207 over 130, and then 86 over 51. And so that was a matter of 2 minutes, I think, when it switched. And so, I think the most frustrating part is when I leave the house and go to a doctor appointment. Because, the nurses, I've done this before, complaining about, and they're great nurses because they're worried about those numbers, the 207 over whatever. But I'm like, you just don't understand. I've been in the car ride. It depends on how long the car ride is to the doctor's office and how long is the walk from the car. I'm like, this, you see the 207 over 130, but when I leave here, my blood pressure, we've been sitting here talking, it's going to bottom out. And usually, recently I just take the pressure machine, because guys know how it stores a certain amount of readings, and then I just show them. And so my allergist, I've been with him forever now, and he's like, just seeing it, he's like, oh, that's probably your POTS right there. It's not probably. And he's good, don't get me wrong, okay? But when they see it, I think they feel like they underestimated all the stuff that I and me, you guys, and all of the specialists that we go to, like they underestimate that. And then they don't realize, what is it like when your pressure is like that all day, every day of your life, in your sleep. And we people with POTS, especially me, I had the hyperadrenergic POTS, which you can see by that 207/130. And so the bottom out is really bad because you get this high point that's false, and it gives the people a false sense of where you are, especially when you're doing 160 over whatever and you drop below the 80 something, or you get no reading because of that drop. Lately, it's been that no reading, and I'm like, don't worry, it's going to rebound. But my point is, people underestimating your illness because you're sitting there, you're sitting upright, but they don't know what happens when you leave. And so them seeing it right now is for the best. There are only, most of my doctors understand, but again, if you don't live with it and the person is looking perfectly fine in front of you, despite whatever area of symptoms they're seeing you for, right? It's just, it doesn't make sense. They can't fathom, like, okay, so how often does this happen? It happens all day, every day. My life, my physical life is a roller coaster. And that 207 or whatever feels just as horrible as that 86 over whatever. I never, people. And there's nothing you can do to make someone really weigh your situation. And that's why it's disabling. So the fact that I'm here seeing you and I'm on disability, even though I was perfectly fine in the working world with degrees and so forth, making a wonderful salary, could send my child to private freaking school, I am disabled because my pressure does this all day. Plus the other symptoms. Okay, so that's just like, I'm this for my allergist. I'm here seeing you for my allergies and asthma, but my primary care deals with my COPD. That's just a few issues right there. Okay, and so what I'm saying, none of it. You start going to appointments, you're a little bit more docile because you're like, whatever, nobody gets it. They can't get it unless they live with it. But it would be nice if they were all like my primary care and my psychiatrist, who has done a lot for my dysautonomia, more than some specialists, because she gives a shit and she sees me often. So she's watched this very closely. She's the main doctor to have watched it closely. When you think about it, I see her, if I'm seeing her once a week or twice a week, that's a big deal to really watch over the years as this progressed. When I met her, I was not a dysautonomic. I lost vision in my left eye. That's when I went blind in my left eye. And I started seeing her. So that was before, my gosh, people, that was like 2006. That's how long I've been seeing my psychiatrist, and I was molested as a child. So it started off nothing about dysautonomia. She watched as it crept into my life, and she was the catalyst for my applying for disability, because you don't want to do that, because I went 3 years with $0 income, guys. That means you're disabled. Nobody who has a perfectly good job that they love. I loved my job. I loved my boss. I was perfectly overly content. When people were talking about how'd your day go at the job, I'm like, oh my God, it was wonderful. I never felt dread having to go into work. Never. You could find me there on the weekends doing stuff. Nobody's there. But I'm just doing things, staying ahead, staying on top. Bring my son in with me on a Saturday to knock a few things out that just will make life easier for everyone else. Come Monday, no one's asking me to do these things. Whatever. You see, now I just want to stop talking, because once you start, you realize that what you're dealing with, the beast, is so crazy and so enormous that you can talk like this and you can rant I have one doctor who does see me for my rheumatologist. I do see her for an hour when we go every like 3-4 months now. So I have these long, she gets it. Let me be clear. She gets it really well. Okay. But the venting, when I do go to different people, I leave and I begin to realize it doesn't matter. They're not living with it. And they see me sitting upright. Even the people who've seen me, my pressure fall, it doesn't make sense until you live it, or you live with someone, or you're the person taking someone to the doctor. My life is the same, and it's progressing, but I'm at home, and that's great. Okay, I'm not in a hospital. I am at home, and that's what's most important. That's the biggest deal for me now. Cutting out a lot of appointments, like, oh, I can't watch this illness any closer than I have. And every few seconds I get a day, try not to focus on the illness, even though it's forcing me to do something it's forcing something right now. And you just get used to living with it. Where when you meditate and you slow down, I'm like, oh my God, my body is just out of control. But if I take something for the pressure, it's either going to make my pressure higher than that 207/30, or it's going to make my pressure lower than the 86 over. I'm always saying the top number and never the bottom, because by the time I talk about it, I've forgotten the bottom numbers. Okay. So, I don't know what I was saying either. Yeah. And when you can't get oxygen, yeah, life is different. You can't, nothing is at full capacity. Okay. See, this is a big deal. I don't talk. I don't make videos really anymore. I don't talk on the phone. I try to conserve my oxygen so that I can be a homeschool teacher and tend to a dysautonomic body. This body is like another child. That's the way it is. The me that is conscious knows that it's taking care of an illness around the clock, and it starts at 3 a.m. and I take that nap sometimes at 3 p.m. But if I don't, 11 o'clock to bed, and 3 a.m. back on the grind. Okay. So that's it. I do have a lot of other things that I'm doing as far as lifestyle, meaning, my blogs and so forth. Yeah. And I guess, where am I mostly now? I'm mostly on Steemit now. STEEM as in Mary, Steemit. Of course, you can find me there as MissNikkiAnn or whatever. But I'm going to go now. I actually have 3 inhalers to do right now. I've been putting it off, watching the royal wedding, which is not usually my thing. I don't even know how but so now I'm behind, and my breathing is showing it. And so, okay, that's it, guys. I am really here. See that? And I'll talk to you later. And yeah, be good, be patient, be in the moment, be a great patient. All right.